If you're walking through Central Park South near the entrance at 6th Avenue, you'll come across this stone horse trough. It was built more than a century ago, but it raises more questions than answers. This is the mystery of Mrs. Henry C. Russell's horse trough. At the turn of the 20th century, New York City ran on horses. They pulled everything from fire engines and delivery wagons to streetcars and private carriages. Historians estimate there were well over 100,000 working horses on the city's streets. Because horses worked long hours, the city and public donors installed public horse troughs where they could stop for a drink. While only a handful survive today, horse troughs like this were once a common sight across New York City, many of them donated by private citizens and animal welfare groups like the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. According to the engraving, this trough was donated in 1908 by a woman identified only as Mrs. Henry C. Russell to the ASPCA. The thing is, we don't really know who Mrs. Henry C. Russell actually was. At the time, married women were often identified publicly by their husband's name, and because there were multiple men named Henry C. Russell around that time, researchers haven't been able to confidently identify the woman behind the inscription. And to make things even more complicated, this isn't the original location of the trough. In fact, no one knows exactly where it originally stood. At some point by the early 1980s, the trough had turned up at an animal shelter near JFK Airport before being moved to City Hall Park. In 1988, a Central Park carriage horse collapsed near the park. The incident renewed concerns about the welfare of the city's carriage horses, and the trough was relocated here just inside the park entrance where the horses gathered today. More than a century after it was built, it's still in operation. It represents a time when New York recognized that if horses were going to power the city, they needed public infrastructure to care for them. Today, horse-drawn carriages remain one of New York's most debated traditions. The city's Department of Health regulates the industry, but animal welfare advocates argue those protections don't go far enough and have pushed for the practice to end. This old stone trough sits between those two ideas, providing water for working horses, but also serving as a reminder that caring for working animals requires more than good intentions, and that the debate over what they deserve is still unfolding today. So that's kind of interesting.